Welcome back, everybody, to the Baltimore Orioles franchise here on MLB The Show 21. We've got our biggest game of the year today, Game 3 of the ALDS, where, put simply, we have to win. We lost the first two games 5-3 and 6-4, respectively, and for lack of a better term, we just have not played well in these two playoff games, and now we have to win 3 in a row in order to keep our season alive. The offense struggled in Game 1, and although we did hit the ball better in Game 2, obviously it was not enough, and our offense didn't do a whole lot the final few innings of that game. The pitching was opposite. I thought we pitched fairly well in Game 1. Not great, but not awful. But Game 2, it was a struggle. Corbin Burnes did not have a good start. Matthew Thompson came out of a bullpen and really struggled. So our backs are now fully against the wall here in Game 3 on the road in Toronto. And since this is an elimination game, this will be the only game of the episode. So let's not waste any more time and get into it. The Baltimore Orioles' backs are fully against the wall, down 2-0 in the ALDS against the Toronto Blue Jays. And the Orioles are going to have to win 3 in a row here against their rivals in order to keep the season alive. And it's certainly going to be a challenge. We know this Blue Jays team is really good. It's going to be hard for them to lose 3 in a row, especially 2 at home. So the Orioles have to play their best baseball these next few games in order to possibly keep their chances at a World Series this year alive. The Orioles are the only team in danger of getting swept. The other series have seen both teams win at least one game. Here is the lineup for Baltimore today. No Xavier Bowman. Instead, it'll be Elliot Ramos. But other than that, nothing too crazy. I guess Carmen Sixto hitting leadoff is a little bit different. So here is Yonny Chirinos, who will be starting for the Jays. Had a great regular season with a 2.77 ERA and a 1.18 whip as he faces off against Shed Long, who takes a big swing and a miss. Shed Long has not looked like himself so far in the playoffs. He was so good at the end of the year in that final regular season series against Toronto. But in the playoffs, he has not looked good. Framber Valdez, starting for the Orioles, was all right in the regular season. Not bad, not great per se either, as he gets Cavan Biggio to strike out, looking at the high curveball. Good start for both of these pitchers as we move to the second. Nick Castellanos chases the slider, swinging a little bit too early there. So far, so good for both Yonny Chirinos and the other pitcher, Framber Valdez, for the Orioles. Heston Kjerstad with 2 away, flies this one into left field, caught pretty easily. So no base runners, no hits, no nothing for either team so far. We'll see if Toronto can change that up here in the bottom of the second, as it's Austin Meadows who leads things off. He goes down chasing on the changeup. Great pitch by Framber Valdez. A little lefty-on-lefty crime there. George Springer is now up for the Jays, hitting .667 in the postseason, and that average just increased. Springer with a bomb in the left center field. You can forget about it. The first base runner of the day, it's actually going to be a solo home run off the bat of George Springer, who has been phenomenal in the postseason here for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he will put them on the board with a 1-0 lead. Not quite the start Baltimore wanted there as we go to the third. Elliot Ramos hits that one high, pretty deep in a left field. Back at the track, at the wall, it's caught. Not quite over the fence, unlike what we just saw from George Springer. That was Teoscar Hernandez who had that catch. Speaking of Hernandez, he leads off the third, draws a walk. So Toronto's offense is now showing something, unlike the Orioles, who don't have the base runner for 3 innings. 2 away for Cavan Biggio. Rips this one in the left field for a base hit. Toronto now has 2-1, 2 out, and they can get off to a dominant start in this game with a hit here from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who can open the door wide open. Well, he doesn't get a hit, but he keeps the inning alive, drawing a walk on the inside changeup. So the bases are now juiced for Austin Meadows. 1-2. Weakly grounded. Valdez chasing after it. The throw to first is in time, and Framber Valdez gets out of a bases-loaded jam. A little bit shaky in that inning, but he got out of it with no harm done, and it remains 1-0. Yonny Chirinos is still pitching a perfect game, but that'll finally change here in the fourth. It's Louis St. John who breaks the perfect streak with a double in right center field. St. John had 2 hits in Game 2 of the series, in which he drove in a run in each of those at-bats. So now he is on second base for Nick Castellanos with 2 away. An opportunity to put the Orioles on the board. And that is not going to happen as it's a grounder to Biggio, who makes a really nice throw over first. 4 scoreless for Yonny Chirinos. Even though the perfect game is dead, the shutout is not. Here is George Springer back to business. Another hit for Springer. And with how he has hit so far in the playoffs, I mean, there has to be some trash can banging going on. That would be my hypothesis. A double with 1 out here for Springer, and Toronto can bolster this lead up quite a bit. Rowdy Tellez now draws a walk. Valdez at 69. Nice pitches. And with his pitch count getting higher, maybe the Orioles look to make a move soon. 2 away for Moreno. Grounds it to third. Muncy makes the play. So Framber Valdez gets out of another jam. Toronto's left 5 runners on base these past 2 innings. But they have not gotten anybody across since the solo home run by George Springer in the second. Let's move to the 5th. Let's see if Baltimore can finally get some runs. Because, well, they haven't yet. Heston Kjerstad with 1 out. Singles into right field. The second base hit of the day for Baltimore. So now they have a runner aboard. Maybe this is their opportunity to get back in the game. As that will bring up Elliot Ramos with 2 away. Grounds it to second. Biggio flips it over to Bo Bichette. And that is now 5 scoreless innings for Yonny Chirinos. And if the Orioles offense does not figure it out quick, their season could be done very prematurely. Valdez still in the game here in the bottom of the 5th. I'm not sure how much longer he'll stay in the game as that one gets past the glove of the shortstop, Jalen Miller, for a single into center field. So Toronto is another runner aboard. And from there, Baltimore would make their pitching change. With Framber Valdez's pitch count getting kind of high up and leaving a lot of runners on base, he will be removed from the game, and it'll be Amir Garrett who enters as he walks Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 1 away. So again, the Blue Jays are getting more base runners. 2 gone for Arozarena swinging this. The Toronto Blue Jays have left 7 runners on base the past 2 innings. They have been choking with runners on, but they still lead 1-0. Marco Luciano in as a pinch hitter for Jalen Miller. Luciano 3 for 3 so far in the postseason. Gonna make it 4 for 4. A double for Marco Luciano with nobody away. Luciano had a very rough regular season. He hit .199 in the big leagues before being sent down back in June. Hasn't played in the big leagues since, but in the playoffs, he is 4 for 4 so far. He looks like a totally new player. Carmen Sixto strikes out, going down looking. A big K for Chirinos, and now that'll bring up Shed Lawn, who's had another rough game so far. Lawn grounds that one to first. Rowdy Tellez will not make the play in time. Luciano threatens to go home. He quickly gets back to third and is barely safe. So it's an infield single for Lawn. And now there are runners on the corners. A huge opportunity here for Louis St. John, who lines this one into left field. It'll drop for a hit. And finally, the Orioles have a run on the board. It took them nearly 6 full innings, but they finally do it. A huge single from Louis St. John, who is fired up over there at first base. And from that, the Toronto Blue Jays would make a pitching change. Nate Pearson is in for the Jays. They are hoping to get a few innings out of him as he faces off against Nick Castellanos for 1-2. Goes down looking on the 4-seam fastball. Castellanos, I don't know what that signal was towards the pitcher, but okay, we'll go with it. 2 gone now for Adley Rutschman. Liner in a left center field. That'll drop for a hit. 1 run will score. St. John on his horse headed for home. A 2-run double for Adley Rutschman. And the Orioles offense has clicked here in the 6th inning as they drive in 3 runs. A single from LSJ. A 2-run double from Adley Rutschman. Unfortunately, the offensive outpour would come to a close with a Heston Kjerstad ground out, but still a really productive inning there for the Orioles. They had to get back on track sooner than later, and that is exactly what they do. And now we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Rowdy Tellez leads it off for Toronto, and he's going extra bases. Tellez rounding first, headed to second for a double. So the Orioles outfield decided to go for a shift. It completely backfired. And Amir Garrett would be taken out of the game right after that in place of Jordan Hicks, who in his first postseason game allowed a home run. Hopefully that does not happen again as he strikes out Teoscar Hernandez looking. So it seems like Hicks is doing pretty well in this inning. 2 away now for the catcher, Gabriel Moreno. High and deep in the left field, and this game is tied at 3. Moreno hits it off the foul pole. A 2-run blast, and this game just got real interesting. It was 1-0 going into the 6th inning, and both teams have had huge offensive outpours. The Orioles score 3 runs, and Toronto answers right back with a 2-run shot by Gabriel Moreno. Just exactly not what Baltimore needed to happen there. Moreno knew that was gone as soon as it touched his bat, going with the bat flip as well. And Jordan Hicks just could watch that one in awe. Bo Bichette now up, grounded to short. Luciano will make the play. Nice defense by Marco Luciano, but a good inning for the Blue Jays as Gabriel Moreno hits a 2-run shot. And this game just got kind of crazy. Xavier Bowman enters as a pinch hitter for Ramos. He goes down looking. Both Bowman and Ramos, who have played in all 3 postseason games, have not reached base once. Marco Luciano, who has reached base in every at-bat, unfortunately ends his streak, which will end the 7th. That pitch was out of the zone, and he still hit it solidly. So it's good to see him hitting the ball well, but it doesn't really matter in the landscape of this game because an out's an out. Good inning from Pearson. Now we go to the bottom half of the frame where the lefty Colin Poche will enter for the O's, his 2nd appearance this postseason as he starts with Kevin Biggio. Lefty on lefty crime, but it's Biggio who wins the battle here as that one goes in the left center field. Biggio headed for second, and that'll be a no-out double for Kevin Biggio. And with a runner in scoring position this early in the inning, Toronto should be able to drive him in. The next batter, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Weekly hits this one to second. Shed Long makes the play, but Biggio advances to third, and he is now 90 feet away from home with a very optimal chance of scoring. Austin Meadows really just has to put the ball in play here, or draw a walk. I guess that's fine. But it does set up a force out at second, so the double play is possible. Randy Arozarena is up at the plate, and the Orioles will make a pitching change from there as it'll be the rookie Julian Starnes who enters for the O's. So runners on the corners. One away for Arozarena. Rips this one to third. Muncy hesitates, throws home, and he does get the out. So it remains tied at 3. The Orioles could have turned 2 there, but Max Muncy was hesitant at third base. He wasn't sure if he should try for the double play or just make sure the Orioles get the out at home. I don't totally blame him there because the score remains tied at 3. He makes sure a run doesn't score, but the inning still is alive. George Springer is up. Hits this one high and somewhat deep into right field, but Castellanos makes the play. So another wacky inning, but Toronto does not score anybody. And with 2 innings to go, it's anybody's bet. Ball game tied at 3 as we enter the 8th inning. Carmen Sixto leads things off. High-hanging pitch up in the zone, and he capitalizes. Sixto into the right center gap, rounding first, headed to second. A double, again, with no outs. And just like Toronto in the bottom of the 7th, Baltimore should be able to score, but they have to play their cards right. Ivan Cortez Jr., the speedster, will enter as a pinch runner. So that'll now bring up Shed Long. If there's any time for him to get back on track, it's now. Long lines it in a right center field. Go, ball, go. See ya! 2-run shot for Shed Long. And the Baltimore Orioles will take a 5-3 lead. It took a little bit for Shed Long to figure it out here in the playoffs, but I think he has. A huge home run for Long, who in the final 4 regular season games, all of which were against Toronto, Long hit 4 home runs in that span. Quiet here in the playoffs, but he gets a big, possibly go-ahead home run to put the Orioles ahead. Ryan Borucki moves in for Toronto as he faces off against Adley Rutschman with 2 away. Rutschman lines it into left field. It goes for a hit. I don't know what has happened with this Orioles offense. They did nothing the first 5 innings, and now they look, well, really good. Heston Kjerstad, 2-2 pitch. Grounds this one to third. Guerrero will make the play, but a strong inning there from the Baltimore Orioles as they score 2. A huge home run from Shed Long, and now Baltimore just has to close this one out, and they can make it a 2-1 series. It'll be Alex Colomé in for Baltimore as he faces off against Rowdy Tellez. Tellez lines this one again, beating the shift perfectly out and left. An easy double for Rowdy Tellez. A great start to the inning for the Blue Jays as they put the tying run up to bat. With 1 away, it's the catcher Moreno who hits this one into shallow right field. Castellanos charging after it, and he caught it! Nick Castellanos with possibly the catch of the year, maybe the catch of the entire series. If that ball had dropped fair and he doesn't catch that, at least 1 run scores. Can we look at that again? Oh my goodness, what an acrobatic catch by Castellanos. And now there's 2 away. The Orioles should be able to get out of the inning. Not so fast, Charlie. Bo Bichette ties it at 5. A 2-run blast for Bo Bichette. And this game is like the gift that keeps on giving. A 2-run homer for Bo Bichette right when the Orioles get momentum with the diving catch by Castellanos and the home run by Shed Lawn. That happens. A huge home run for Bo Bichette to knot this one up. Calvin Biggio now up, strikes out on the cutter. So both teams add 2 more runs here in the 8th inning, and it's still anybody's game, tied up at 5. Let's move to the 9th now. Ryan Borucki will remain in for Toronto. His first batter will be the veteran Max Muncy, who has struggled so far in the playoffs. Today is no exception as he's 0 for 3. Muncy will get that one to drop in left center. It'll be a double for Max Muncy, and with nobody away, this is a huge opportunity for the Orioles to get the lead right back. Muncy fired up at second base. 1 gone now for Marco Luciano, the 1-2. Weekly grounds this one to first. And the play will be made by Tellez, but Muncy advances to third. So Max Muncy is on third base, 2 away. Who has a chance to be the hero? It's Ivan Cortes Jr., of all people. Maybe not the guy Baltimore wants up here. The count is 1-1 for the speedster. Muncy on third, 2 away, tied at 5. This one is grounded up the middle. It'll go for a base hit. Ivan Cortes Jr., of all people, is the hero as he drives in a run. And the Orioles make it 6-5. Clutch hitting there from Cortes. And Baltimore is back up. Shed Lawn is now up at the plate. 3-2 pitch. That would have been a walk, but he chooses to swing for whatever reason. But hey, the Orioles scored 1, and they have the lead going into the bottom of the 9th inning, but they need their elite closer, Edwin Diaz, to finish it off. Diaz has had an unbelievable regular season. He led the American League in saves and now gets his first postseason opportunity this year as he starts with Vlad Guerrero Jr. Grounds it to third. The play will be made by Ivan Cortes Jr. Him and Muncy have swapped positions in the infield. Muncy is now at first base. Meadows now lines it into left field. And now Toronto is a runner aboard. Meadows will hold up at first, but the tying run is on base, and the winning run is up to bat. It's Randy Arozarena, who hit 40 home runs of a regular season, and he strikes out. That's a gigantic K for Edwin Diaz, and now there's 2 away, and it's George Springer, who has been unbelievable here in the playoffs. 9 for 12 in this series. If he can get another hit here, that'd be gigantic. And he doesn't get a hit, but he draws a walk. So now there's 2 on, 2 outs. A double probably wins it, and it's Rowdy Tellez, who has consecutive doubles in his previous 2 plate appearances. The count is full. 3-2. Grounds it to third. Cortes fields it. The throw to Muncy is in time. And the Baltimore Orioles will hold on with their skin of their teeth. 6-5 is your final in an unbelievable playoff game. This one went down the wire. Whenever one team had a big play, the other answered back. But hey, a win is a win. It's a good win. Our offense did well. Our pitching was so-so, I guess. We had some pitchers do well and others not do well, like Alex Colomé, who undeservedly gets the win. But again, we got the win today. That's really all that matters. We're back in the series. Winning 2 in a row is still going to be a tall task, but getting this game, getting some momentum in the series is a really big deal. Avoiding the sweep is what we needed to do, and it's exactly what happens. Clutch hitting the final couple of innings from Shed Lawn, from Ivan Cortes Jr. Who could have seen that coming? Bo Bichette had a big home run in that 8th inning for Toronto, but it was not enough to help them get the win. So the Blue Jays are still in the driver's seat in this series. They just have to win one of these last 2 games. They can end the series in Game 4 at home. But now that we're back in it, I think that's rejuvenating some confidence in us, and hopefully we can make some noise, shock the world, and get out of the ALDS. Hope everybody enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe. Peace out.